If you would, please join me in silencing your mobile devices. At this time, the mayor will call to order the regular city council meeting for 6 p.m. Tuesday, July the 16th, 2024. City Council Chambers, 201 East Nash Street, Terrell, Texas. Have with us this evening District 2, Donna Renee Anderson. We have District 3, Mayor Ronnie Velazquez. District 4, Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Mayor Pro Tem. And we have District 5, Phil Robinson, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. We do have a quorum, so we'll continue with our meeting. At this time, I would ask for everyone to please stand. We're going to do invocation and remain standing for the pledges.
Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, be with us tonight as we deliberate the agenda items. Bring us together as one for our city, Terrell. Move our hearts to do your will in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
All right. Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is Mayor and Council Community Recognition and Events. Wanted to take a moment and thank our city crews who have been working around the clock trying to clear debris in our city after the storm. I recognize the fact that there's no way that they're going to get to every pile of debris in this city when so many streets were impacted. But it's not for lack of effort. They're working very hard. We appreciate staff updating us on the progress of that. So I hope that that continues, and we look forward to getting back to normalcy for our city. In addition to that, I want to take a moment and comment on the events that happened this weekend. The shot that was taken, the assassination attempt on our former president, Donald Trump. All of us, including at the local level, should be mindful of the things that we say, how we say them, and what we say. We're here working as a team. We don't always agree, and that's okay, but we shouldn't get the rhetoric so high, and we can do better as a country, but let's make sure that we're doing our part as a local level here in this city. Be supportive of each other, and with that, I'll turn it over. Does anybody have anything?
I want to say to the crews that are coming out of the city and the contractors, there is no amount of gratitude that I can convey to them verbally for the work that they have been doing 10 hours or more each day. It does not matter that I have experience going through typhoons. If you've never been through anything like this, there's sometimes silence and just sitting with people is helpful. But we have, I have seen community members come together and help each other. But more importantly, I have seen those men working long hours to clean up the rubbish that we've got some way to go yet, but we're making progress. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
I also want to give thanks to staff because as I was here coming shortly after 8 to 5 closing yesterday to pick up some materials, I saw staff working past 5 o'clock to get everything ready for our all-day meeting today, including the working lunch, and then we're back here again. So thank you, and we're going to try to, I'm going to try to do my part to try to get us all to get home and get some rest and do it all over again tomorrow.
I just want to quickly recognize a member of our community who passed away recently. Some of you may know Candy Wingo, a famous teacher in our community, very famous for being eccentric and interesting, and was just a kind of a really treasured teacher in our community. Taught our Gifted and Talented program, and very beloved, and just wanted to wish her and her family our condolences on her passing.
Good, thank you. Anyone else? All right, at this time, I'm going to ask for our chief to come forward. I think he's got an introduction for us. Arlie?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We want to introduce you to one of our new staff members. This is Jacob Candenosa. Yes, sir. Close enough. Very good. He comes to us from Dallas County Sheriff's Department. He's licensed and certified, so he is entered straight into the field training program, and we're very excited about that. And we have the president of the Police Association that just came forward in support for him. So we just wanted to take this opportunity to introduce y'all, let you put a face with a name, and he's already rolling in his training program. So.
Wonderful. Well, and his pinning ceremony was yesterday. I apologize. I would have been there, but, you know, the grandkids come first. Sorry. And I had to get them back to Tyler, but I had it on my calendar. I was going to be there for you. If you don't mind, can we go out there and take a quick picture with him, please?
Yeah, while we're lining up, I'm going to say that was a really fast introduction of Miguel Sanchez, who's actually also our lead field training officer, and I really appreciate him. So thanks for being out here.
Thanks, sir. Good to see you. So you're new. I'm going to give you one.
Congratulations, sir. It's so good to meet you.
Ready?
You're not gonna come up here. You're not gonna come up here.
Can you get it? Hey, yep. Oh, y'all are part of the club.
Sideways doesn't matter.
Good. Maybe we should turn, do we need to get closer?
No, it's not that.
Okay.
It's the light.
Do we need to step forward?
There it is. Nope, that light.
Allison, do you wanna do it in that corner
Try
with the
that,
flags?
See,
Yeah, that's better.
Better.
Better. Okay. Perfect, thank you.
Congratulations. Are you?
Thank you.
Can you speak
Congratulations.
Spanish?
I cannot.
Oh, really? I can't either. So good.
Don't
tell me Ronnie that. Hey, don't tell my Ronnie that.
Nice to meet y'all.
Glad to have you with us.
Okay, yeah, I know, right, yeah, I know. Well, again, congratulations and welcome to Terrell and welcome to the police force. Our next item on the agenda is to hear remarks from visitors. I do have a form from Robert Blair, Mr. Blair, and then I have photos that were submitted that will become part of the records as well. And each one of the council members, if you would, please take a look at these when you have an opportunity.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Okay. Okay.
You missed that, yeah, you missed it.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman, thanks for having me. I gave y'all some pictures of what I want to talk about. We'll start with, the first picture is about the sewer problem at help me there,
Windsor.
Windsor 350, where I live, Senior Terraces. I shake, so she gotta help me. That's a picture of it. I visited with the city manager. I think we're on course to fix that problem without any more complaints or anything. And that's a positive, so we'll move on from that one. But we got pictures showing you still water sitting there, and it stinks. And I also wanted you to know that Ms. Lindsay, Don Lindsay's wife, lives within the length of this room, her front porch to this water I'm showing you. So I know she'll appreciate not smelling that smell anymore. The next one,
The sidewalks at your Windsor.
where I live at Windsor, there's all kinds of sidewalks, issues that create problems for handicapped people. And they don't, the owner of the property is not attending to their needs. I don't know that y'all can do anything about it, but they don't meet code. If you don't believe me, I'll loan you one of my wheelchairs manually on to see if y'all can get around in it. And that's that subject, and there's pictures of it. I feel like I live on an island at that address because I can go anywhere on the sidewalks with electric wheelchair, but I can't leave that island because we don't have no sidewalks. We had sidewalks, I could go downtown and I could eat a hamburger, I could eat at a restaurant, I could even go all the way to Walmart and shop if we just had some sidewalk. I know y'all been working on the problem because I've seen the work going on to get where the kids can just walk to school on a sidewalk. And back on your tree problem, I took pictures this morning of all the debris blocking the sidewalk. It's gone this afternoon when I come here, so you can tell your people they got that done this afternoon. But anyhow, that's my problem. I live on an island because I don't have sidewalks to get around. The next thing,
Are the sidewalks down on Moore Street down by Taylor Furniture?
now we're gonna talk about sidewalks. Back when we tore Moore Avenue up to what I used to call is the brick boxes that half of it was dead with grass and all that in it, but now you've taken that out and changed it. But when they built the sidewalks, they didn't take care of all the businesses to make them a smooth transition from the sidewalk into the business. 90% of them between Rockwall and Virginia meet that. But when you cross Virginia, you poured a sidewalk, but you didn't do that. So we're,
Here. Past Eddie's in the tattoo.
and this is
That's the tattoo parlor, Shotguns.
the three businesses that the sidewalk does not conform and should have when they poured it. It wouldn't have been any problem. It would meet the slopes and everything else. And the reason I noticed this, I wanted to have a beer with my buddies. So I went down to Fast Eddie's and I can't get in there. This thing won't jump a 6-inch step. They tried to put some ramps up in the back that don't conform to any kind of safety. But when we built Moore Avenue was tore up and we poured the sidewalks, we did a great job between Rockwall and what's it down there?
Not Virginia,
Yeah, Virginia.
okay.
But once you cross Virginia, you left them 3 businesses out. And there's no way they're handicapped, any way, shape, or form. But it could have been for zero money at the time it should have been fixed. Because they were pouring the sidewalk, why didn't they just raise it up and pour it to the proper level? And there's plenty of length there to do the slopes and everything to make it happen. So I'd like to see y'all do something to solve that problem for them 3 businesses, because nobody in my position can go in there. We're next.
Okay, next is gonna be the sidewalk across over here by the city hall.
Yeah, when I came to City Hall, first thing I noticed across from you is we're doing a beautiful job down through here with, the sidewalk and that remodeling that business over there. And when you're doing construction, which I was in, when somebody wants to do something, is the time to enforce and bring up the standards, everything you're doing. You're doing a great job over here. You just missed it down there years ago. But anyhow, where's my next one?
Your next one is the buildings you've done.
And then these are, I built about 7 or 8 buildings in this town. This one here is the drugstore. It was an old dilapidated building that the lady that owns the donut shop asked me to fix it up for her to rent out. I mean, it leaked, the roof leaked, everything else. I showed her we could stucco the outside of it with a light stucco. I handicapped it. I never did anything that I didn't do first class when I did it. And now it's a drugstore. And I enlarged the parking lot, made it where they could go around and do everything they had to do in that position. What is this one?
That one's just this
That's
round.
just the ramps. This one here, I built that and it was my office. The Davis Funeral Home was in that building that y'all finally had them tear down, and they're building a nice looking house there now. I rented them that building, but it was already handicapped because I built it that way. And of all the buildings I built, I always brought them up to standards. I own 2 car washes in this town. I owned a 10,000 square foot building in this town. I built a 7,000 square foot building. Both of these are next to the, where the licensed people are. I love my town. I went out to the 300 block and there was no dilapidated station grocery store thing. I bought the lot, all except for one lady in back, and she wouldn't sell to us, but I understood. She said, my daddy built me this, I'm not selling. So we cleaned everything around her. She sits now behind the dollar store. I cleaned that up. I got rid of a sign. I made a sign company take their sign down. Oh, you can't do, I said, yeah, I own it. Tear it down. We don't need that look. We got enough signs in this town. And that's the way I felt about Terrell, Texas since 1968. And that's the end of my talk.
Wonderful. Well, I wanted to say thank you for your comments. Staff is aware of it, and we'll discuss it at the appropriate time for the council. Thank you, Mr. Blair.
Thank you.
All right, our next item on the agenda is a public hearing and city council actions.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Item 4.1 is to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding a zone change from agriculture AG to commercial C based zoning on 7.08 acres of land out of the ML Swing Survey, abstract number 501 Lot 5 and 6, Nike Country Estates, an unrecorded subdivision in the city of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas. The property is also known as 15662 SH 205, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, ZC 24-06.
All right. This is going to be handled by Jana Wampler.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I bring to you tonight a request to do a zone change at 15662 State Highway 205. This property was annexed into our city limits back on April the 18th, 2023. The owner, who is also the developer, is wanting to put in a event center, and if it's the application for the zone change is approved tonight, then we'll go right in next for that SUP application. I'll provide you with more detail. 8 letters were sent to the adjacent property owners, and at this time, we've not received one response back, either in favor or not in favor of the zone change. The application was presented to the Planning and Zoning Board June 27, 2024, and was approved by a vote of 6-0 of the zone change. If you'll turn over to the location map, which is on page Don's got it on the screen, page 18. This is on the northeast side of State Highway 205 between Nike Drive and FM 1392. The next page shows that the property is currently in an agriculture zoning status. Once we received the property back into our city limits last year, all property we receive comes in as an agriculture standing until that property owner is ready to change the use of the property. The future use is agriculture, but with the change tonight, that will change that future use. And you'll see the next page is the buffer map of all the individuals. We attempted to send a public hearing notice. Page 22 has the address and name of those individuals. Page 23 is the public hearing notice. Staff recommends approval of this zone change for application ZZ 2406 at 15662 State Highway 205.
All right. This is a public hearing, so we will open the public hearing. This time, we'll open the public hearing to receive comments on this item. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against this zone change? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing, and we'll move on to item 4.2.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3052, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, amending Appendix 2 zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell by changing the zoning classification on certain real property, more particularly described by meets and bounds as 7.08 acres of land out of the ML Swing Survey, abstract number 501, Kaufman County, Texas, and being further described as part of Lot 5 and 6, Nike Country Estates, an unrecorded subdivision, and also known as 15662 State Highway 205, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, from agriculture AG to commercial C, as described in the property description contained in the deed of trust attached hereto as Exhibit A, and the location map attached hereto as Exhibit B, both of which being made a part hereof for all purposes, providing for severability and providing an effective date, ZC 24-06.
Okay, Jenna, if you would please come forward again. So this is they want to make this a commercial property, and it fronts 205, which is okay. Our planning and zoning was 6-0 vote for, in favor of.
Yes, sir.
Does anybody have any questions for Jana on this item?
And this is permissible based on our,
Yes, the use is permissible for commercial zoning. Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
Anyone else? This is going to be ordinance number 3052. Is there a motion on 4.2?
Motion to approve ordinance number 3052.
Is there a second?
A second.
We have a motion from Phil Robinson, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 5, a second from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Mayor Pro Tem from District 4. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries for none of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 4.3.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Item 4.3 is to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding a zone change from agriculture AG to commercial C-based zoning on 7.06 acres of land out of the ML Swing Survey Abstract Number 501, Lot 5 and 6, Nike Country Estates, an unrecorded subdivision in the city of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas. The property also known as 15662 SH 205, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, SUP 24-03.
Again, this will be handled by our Business Development Manager, Dana Wampler.
Mayor and council, this is the same applicant and property owner that just provided the zone change application. This property was formerly an RV repair shop out on 205, and when the new owners purchased it, they had that tenant removed, and now they're wanting to put in an event center that they're wanting to call the Waterfall. 8 letters were sent out to all of the adjacent property owners within the 200-foot buffer zone, and we did not receive one response back, either in favor or not in favor. Staff recommends approval of this SUP. If you'll turn over a few pages past the application, you will see a letter from the owner and the business owner, Shauna Soto, just telling a little bit about some of the items that she's going to do. There's 2 existing buildings that she's going to convert, and I want to read you just a little paragraph about each of those updates. Our main building is 5,000 square feet, estimating up to 250 guests or per fire marshal guidelines. That will include a women's suite for guests of honor with private bathroom and dressing room. Waterfall will also offer a beautiful balcony for an amazing grand entrance, as well as a bonus hidden slide. Our indoor-outdoor concept with glass rolling doors will make this a fun place to celebrate. We will have additional restrooms with sinks, 2 stalls for ladies, as well as 2 stalls for men, both ADA required with changing station. Now, the second building is a 1,650 square foot building on site, and it has they're going to convert portion of it, 800 square feet, to a groomsman suite with bathroom and shower. This building will also allow for 400 square feet for storage and 400 square feet catering room for outside vendors to prep. There's not going to be a kitchen on this location. They're going to have outside sources bring in the meals, refreshments, what have you, and then they'll use that second building in that back room to arrange those things. But there will be no food prepared on site. If you look at page 49, this is the main building and some of the conversions that they're wanting to do to the buildings. Going on to page 50, you can see the roll-up doors that she's proposing. Here's another end of the building. Page 52 is her logo. And before we go into the public hearing, Mayor, I'd like to read a page from the development standards that's attached to the ordinance. If you'll remember, a couple of months ago, we approved an event center called Lily's out at the Shops at Tanger Mall. Well, I've incorporated some of those guidelines and restrictions into this. So on page 70, talks about the hours and that the alcohol consumption will end 1 hour prior to closing. And then the second is a licensed peace officer will be on site for each event while alcohol is present. All events shall abide by additional and all rules, regulations of TABC and the City of Terrell. And then at the bottom, we added the same with a couple of more prohibited uses. One is the private gambling clubs, 2, a storage facility, the sale of new or used manufactured homes, or 4, portable building sales. And again, staff recommends approval.
All right, this is a public hearing, so we will open the public hearing to receive comments regarding this zone change. Is there anyone here to speak for or against this particular item? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. and move on to item 4.4.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3054, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, granting a specific use permit under the provisions of Section 31B, Appendix 2, zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell to A&A Soto Development, LLC, allowing an exception to the provisions of Section 29, Appendix 2, zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell for certain property more particularly described by meets and bounds as 7.06 acres of land out of the ML Swing Survey, abstract number 501, Kaufman County, Texas, and being further described as part of Lot 5 and 6, Nike Country Estates, an unrecorded subdivision, also known as 15662 SH205, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas. Attached here to is Exhibit A and under the terms and conditions specified in Exhibit B, both of which are a part hereof for all purposes by permitting a special events venue to be located on said property currently zoned as Commercial C, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date, SUP 24-03.
All right, Janet, if you would please come forward. Again, this was a 6-0 vote by our P and Z.
Yes, sir.
Right. And want to thank you for including that document that showed what is and what isn't allowed and when it can't be. My only question would be, 250 people, that's a lot of cars. Is there enough parking there?
Well, they have 5 acres, and so in the rear behind where the groomsmen, they're going to eventually, in a second phase, pave that and add more parking.
But until then, it'll
But
just be
until then,
open.
they'll be restricted on the number of guests. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is this property adjacent to the one we just discussed, or is it the same property?
It's the same property.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Jana, how do we, for lack of a better word, like control, right? Like the parking situation, like how do we hold them accountable to make sure that the additional parking or the parking in the back is completed?
When they turn in their,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, Jana.
When they turn in their final elevation plans, they'll also then provide the plans for the parking itself, and they'll be striped off. So there will require individual, striping for those parking spots versus the ADA striping. And so we'll manage that and check that during the process before they're able to get a certificate of occupancy.
Yeah, there's still a building permit application and construction. There's lots of steps left for them, and that will be some checks that happen at future phases.
Jenna, what was the alcohol piece that you outlined earlier?
I provided you with their hours of operation, and so it'll be required, like we did out the shops at Tanger, that when their hours end at, from Sunday to Thursday, it's 9 a.m. to midnight. Alcohol usage will stop at 11 p.m., 1 hour. On Friday and Saturday nights, their hours are from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m., and alcohol consumption will stop at 12 a.m.
Okay, and I see that an officer will be on site for events when alcohol are there as well.
Yes,
Okay.
and we spoke at length with Fire Marshal Robert Gentry, and those were his recommendations.
Okay.
Jenna, real quick, so are these venues, is it an option to BYOB?
It doesn't matter if they'll have to apply for their TABC license if they want to sell it, but right now they're just setting up for it to be brought on by the customer renting the facility. So that's where it is. But regardless, if they eventually get to selling alcohol versus BYOB, there still will have to be a licensed peace officer on site.
This is where we refer to, or defer, I should say, to TABC, and that's why the Exhibit B refers specifically to TABC. We have a whole set of other standards related to that, and so does TABC. So that's all it really boils down to. They still have to follow those rules.
Right, but if you're BYOB, I don't know how you cut off 1 hour before, because you don't have a licensed individual selling it, that you should cut it off. If it's BYOB, it's gonna be hard to,
Mayor, I'm going to agree with you, but remember, this is why you have a zoning ordinance with the $2,000 a day fine for zoning violations. If we have a law officer out there and he's observing a problem, it's going to be very easy to institute a fine under the zoning ordinance.
okay, yeah, no, I just, and this isn't criticism of anybody that's involved, but it's something that we need to look at and think about.
Absolutely.
Before it becomes a problem.
And Mayor, I will say that Ms. Soto is preparing a contract for anyone wanting to reserve her facility, and those requirements are going to be written into those contracts.
Okay, cool.
I
No,
have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
The peace officer, is it a licensed, certified peace officer from the city?
Just
a license?
a licensed peace officer. It doesn't have to be a City of Terrell employee.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
just to clarify, since there was a question, TABC rules, since I was TABC certified, I can say that those rules do state that someone that is certified as TABC has to hand it out, whether you sell it or you just, like, the bride and groom bring it. So they still have to have someone that is licensed from TABC to be there.
so it's not BYOB, the individual, the customers.
Correct. It's not the customers
BYOB,
bringing it.
the
It's
event.
like the party, they
Yes.
buy however many things from Costco, they hand it out, but it has to be someone that's TAB certified handed it out. Correct. They hire a bartender, they hire a friend
Okay.
who's certified, et cetera.
That's good to know, yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, council, this is ordinance number 3053. Is there a motion?
We're on-
30.
Yeah, we're on 304. Mhm.
Oh, you're right, yeah, 3054, I'm sorry. Long day.
Motion to approve ordinance number 3054.
There's a motion, is there a second?
A second.
We have a motion from Phil Robinson, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 5, a second from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Mayor Pro Tem, District 4. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries for unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 4.5.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, item 4.5 is to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding a zone change from agricultural AG to commercial C based zoning on 5.048 acres of land out of the ML Swing Survey, abstract number 501, Block 2, Nike Country Estates, an unrecorded subdivision in the city of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas. The property is also known as 15720 SH 205, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, ZC 24-05.
Okay, Jenna?
Mayor and council, I bring to you another zone change. This one is at 15720 State Highway 205. And this property is just 2 parcels down from the event center that I just presented, the zone change in the SUP. The current use is a single-family residence, and the property is up for sale. The current owners are Samuel and Lisa Haffertab, and the proposed buyer, Gardner Construction. Mr. Gardner, who's here in the audience and is willing to answer any questions you all might have, is only tonight presenting a zone change. If approved tonight, then we're working with him to submit a specific use permit for his use. He's wanting to put in flex-based type businesses, like air conditioned sales, electrical sales, what have you. We're working, we'll fine tune all of that, have the presentations, the information for you, and the type of buildings he's wanting to construct. 8 letters were sent out to the adjacent property owners within the 200-foot buffer, and only 1 response was received in favor of the zone change, which was from the Haffertabs, who are all the property owners in favor of changing it. This was presented to P and Z, and they were approved with a 6-0 vote. If you'll turn now, I want to go to the location map. And if you'll see the red box and go just 2 parcels down, this is where the current parcel is located, and then 2 parcels down is where the event center is. The next page shows that the property is zoned agriculture. The future land use on the next page, 81, is for still in ag. And it's called Texas Heritage Agriculture. The buffer map on the next page shows the 200 feet of all the letters that were sent to, in regards to the public hearing. Page 83 are the list of those individuals and their addresses. And then the next page was the public hearing. On page 86 is the property owner, Sam Haffertap, his recommendation in favor of this zone change. And again, on 87, I had the proposed property owner write a little snippet on what his intended use. He said, "We are currently under contract to purchase 15720 State Highway 205 and have been working with the current owners to have the property rezoned from agriculture to commercial. We intend to use the property for flex space building. The potential tenant makeup could include HVAC companies, electrical contractors, plumbing contractors, service companies, small supply house or commercial business, light manufacturing, and automotive repair. There will be occasional deliveries from freight companies and 18-wheelers. When Mr. Gardner submits his SUP, we will make sure that his proposed uses comply with the commercial zoning. So just today, we're just wanting to do the zoning change application. And again, staff recommends approval of this zone change, and P&Z did vote in favor with a 6-0.
All right, this is a public hearing. This time, we will open the public hearing to receive comments regarding the zone change. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on this item? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Move on to 4.6. Greg?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3053. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, amending Appendix 2 zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell by changing the zoning classification on certain real property, more particularly described by meets and bounds as 5.048 acres of land out of the ML Swing Survey, abstract number 501, Kaufman County, Texas, and being further described as Block 2 Nike Country Estates, an unrecorded subdivision, and also known as 15720 State Highway 205, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, from agriculture, AG, to commercial, C, as described in the property description contained in the general warranty deed attached hereto as Exhibit A, and made a part hereof for all purposes, providing for severability and providing an effective date, ZC 24-05.
All right, Jenna, one more time. 6-0 vote from P and Z. We're moving from ag to commercial, so we get out of ag, it becomes ad valorem taxes on the commercial side of it, so that's good. Anybody have any comments, questions?
I'm curious, so these two situations have nothing to do with each other at all, right?
No, sir. Two
It's interesting
separate
to me
owners.
that they're so close to each other. But, having the, this was all agricultural, and now we're going to have an event center here and then, HVAC repair shop there. It just seems kind of like hodgepodge zoning. I think we typically want to try to avoid that, right, in most cases? It's kind of the point of some of our zoning.
I guess I would say that it depends on how you look at it. They're both things that are allowable uses under commercial. The SUP requirement associated with an event center is involved with, well, there's a lot of nighttime use. So I think P&Z would have looked at it to say, well, in a commercial zone, if some folks are allowed at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. and such, then that's okay. And so I think it's more the perception that an event center isn't appropriate for a commercial area.
As far as, we've we're going to have the increased traffic of an event center there, people kind of coming in, going out of there, enter and egress, and you're indicating that there might be some 18-wheelers coming and going from this location as well. Is that correct?
Mr. Gardner, would you like to clarify that?
Hello, Bart Gardner, 1066 Candace Circle, Rockwall, Texas. There's 18-wheelers that come up and down 205 delivering to all those businesses. If you'll notice, just to the north and just to the south of this, the property we're talking about are already in commercial use. You've got a used car lot, you've got another commercial business, and this little home's been hanging on forever. It just seems to make sense to go ahead and convert it to commercial because that's basically what it's surrounded by anyways. I also own the Texas Gun Ranch, which is about 4 lots up on the right, and a 72-acre development there. We have 18-wheelers coming in and out of there doing deliveries for construction, clays, and all kinds of stuff. And so very familiar with 205. I mean, 205 is also about to be expanded to 5 lanes, so it's going to look a lot different than it does now. And with that comes the change of commercial zoning, and this is kind of where the area is going. So this particular business park is going to look very similar to a bunch of other ones I have going in the Metroplex. I built one on 276 in Royce City that was just west of 548, and it looked, we had 10 buildings there. The types of businesses we had there were a cabinet manufacturing shop, a AC company, a window company, a plumbing company, a restoration company, a church, and a dance studio. And so there was a really diverse kind of mix of tenants and makeups, but these are very popular buildings, and there's just a big use and need for them right now because throughout the Metroplex, and especially this area, with regards to Rockwall and Kaufman County, they're basically 100% leased, and there's a lot of small businesses that need these type spaces. So I'll kind of leave it with that and answer any questions that you might have.
Does anybody have any more questions? No? Good?
Not for the applicant.
Okay.
No,
No, you're good, you're good.
Okay.
Jana, if you would please come forward. Thank you for your comment.
Really I had a similar thought to Phil, and while I understand it's commercial, but I'm also thinking about, like, what do we want Highway 205 to look like with the 5, turning into 5 lanes? There is a home right next door. So I, to some extent, I understand of your comment about like hodgepodge, but it's allowable. All of these uses are allowable within commercial. It's a highway, but it also makes me think about like what do we want the 205 entrance into the city of Terrell to look like? So more of a remark than a question.
Okay, all right, thank you. This is ordinance number 3053. Is there a motion?
What was the ordinance number?
3053.
Motion to approve ordinance number 3053.
Motion, is there a second? We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, District 3, a second from Stephanie Holm Thomas, Mayor Pro Tem, District 4. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 5.1, discuss and consider council board responsibilities. Council, we have our board responsibilities, and really what I was wanting to do and hopefully accomplish today is Grady Simpson is no longer with us. Much as I love Grady, we have a new council member, so he's been replaced, and if there is no objection, I would like to appoint his board responsibilities over to the new councilwoman from District 2, Donna Renee Anderson. So that would include the Animal Advisory Board, the Civil Service Board. Is there another one? Is that it? Those two. So I'll make a motion to appoint Donna Renee Anderson from District 2 to those 2 boards. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion from the mayor, a second from Phil Robinson, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 5, to appoint newly elected Donna Renee Anderson, District 2, to the Animal Advisory Board and the Civil Service Board responsibilities. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next item on the agenda, discuss and consider Library Advisory Board appointments. Don?
Mayor and council, I spoke with Councilwoman Stephanie Helms Thomas, and she would like to postpone this item.
Okay. Is there a motion on 5.2?
Motion to postpone item 5.2.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, District 3, a second from Phil Robinson, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 5, to postpone item 5.2. Is there any further discussion?
I want to thank you guys for the motion and the second, because I want to make sure I talk to all the candidates. I recently got another one. I want to give everybody an opportunity to vet them before we do that, so I appreciate that.
One thing I do know about this council is they love to vet these before they appoint, so thank you very much.
Change their minds, man.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Next item on the agenda is 5.3, discuss update of ordinances related to city boards and commissions. This will be our City Secretary, Don Stahl.
Mayor and council, in your packet, there's a quick presentation regarding the boards and commissions ordinances. These are we talked about this at the last meeting. These are the boards and commissions that we were looking at the ordinances to update. And these are the things that we updated on those. The vacancy appointment terms for appointments other than term expiration are clarified and consistent. They were to fill the unexpired term. Now that whoever is appointed will start a new term. Updates requirements for members on all boards to reside within the city of Terrell. I think we only had one board, and it was the airport board. And so that allowed members outside of the city to be on that board, but we don't have any now that allow that. Also, 3-year terms. Some of those ordinances had 2-year terms, some had 3, so now all of the boards and commissions will be 3-year terms. The attendance requirements, we had talked about making that a little bit of a stricter requirement, and some of you had expressed some concerns, so we did add some language in there. And I know, again, it's kind of small. I can actually make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. But basically, it's all the same that it was before, but basically, we added members with extenuating circumstances may request suspension of their service for a period of time. So if they do have an extenuating circumstance, we want to be understanding to that, and they can just let that board chair know. And these will come back. I will have all of the ordinances at the next meeting on July 30th for approval.
Related to the must be a resident of Terrell.
Yes.
This means all of the boards are going to be that way, including the airport board?
Yes.
I'm going to
Thought.
back, can I just pause on that real quick? Remember that we have tax increment refinance zones for which we do not do all of the appointments. The positions we appoint on the TERSs
Yes.
are city residents.
Yes.
The positions appointed by the county are not going to be city residents. Just want to get that clarification out there.
Yes,
And then this also does not impose that rule on the EDC or the Paddock Board because they have separate bylaws and they're separate taxing entities. And so they'll have to make their own recommendations about their own bylaws.
Yes.
I think the thought behind the airport board was if we had somebody who was a pilot but didn't live in Terrell, but flew into Terrell, but lived close, this would give us an opportunity to appoint that individual to the board. And the other thing is there may be somebody specific to aviation who may not live in the city of Terrell, but is close to the city, who, if we just go across the board and say that this is the rule, they wouldn't be able to. So just, again, this is discussion. I'm just bringing it up for discussion because we're not gonna vote on it, but just some thoughts. Does that seem like that makes sense and is fair, or,
I'm in agreement, Mayor.
yeah?
Well, I think, yeah, someone who that is interested in Terrell as an airport.
Yes.
That is my concern. They have to have some sort of, I don't want to use the word buy-in, but there has to be some sort of interest for a local airport like ours,
May
which
I-
does have potential to grow. So I'm
going to ask a question, and that is perhaps council would like staff to take a shot at some language, and I'll just sort of say stuff that we've kicked around, so you guys let me know what you think. We could certainly have an adjustment for the airport board that had an allowance for a limited number of members who were outside the city limits. You could manage it that way. You can't have all of them, but you could have 2 slots or something. Likewise, you could have a requirement that says, well, you don't have to live in the city, but you have to at least have your airplane in a hangar at the location. So there's a handful of things you could do there to tighten the requirement, but not necessarily impose a full-fledged, you have to live here requirement. If you want us to go down that path, we can beat that up a little bit at the staff level and come back with a specific next time around if you like.
I think we're getting closer to what the council's wanting, but what if we have an outside individual who is in charge of the airport but doesn't fly? What am I thinking about? One of these,
They're retired.
or something,
and
yeah.
they don't
You know, they may not fly, but they have a lot of knowledge.
But they have a knowledge of aviation.
Yeah.
be limited.
And it has
If I
to be,
may.
it's not just a pilot.
No.
Pilots land and take off, they do a lot more than that, please understand. But when you run an airport, so when I worked for the airlines, you open a city. An airport is called a city. So you open a city, and you're looking for someone who has, they want Terrell to be the city that has the right equipment, that has the right feel for landing, for bringing planes in, for more than just those people who want to just fly in but you want to have someone who, for the size of our airport, what type of plane, what's the engine capacity, do we have the fuel to support that? All of those things come into play. If you have someone with that kind of airport expertise, that would help, not just a pilot.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, and the very first, I have to give, most of y'all probably don't know this, but the very first job I ever had with the city of Terrell, I was on the airport board. And the reason I was is because I was a flyer. But I think, and I appreciate what Donna Renee said, because in addition, the airport is in her district, so I think she would even have a bigger stake there. But if the mayor and the council would like, I would be happy to help draft some language that would address some of the things that I heard here tonight and present it back for you all to consider if that would be the desire.
Yeah, I'm thinking about an operator as well, but go ahead.
I also want to play devil's advocate here, because I'm thinking about not just the airport board, but any other board, and thinking about, continuing to put on our, like our business hat on, right, for the airport and those board of directors for the airport. It may be somebody that's in economic development that understands how to help create the path forward for the airport board. It could or could not be a pilot. It could be somebody has extensive knowledge in the business area with recruitment and retention. So I want to play devil's advocate in saying that I think we have good quality people, or people with qualifying experiences that can contribute to the airport board. So I'm not opposed to saying it's only residents of the city of Terrell, or maybe perhaps have a hang or have a stake in the airport, because I want to utilize those experiences that those potential board members can come with. And we've done a airport master plan, and I wonder where what funding we have and whether we consult, we'll be doing more consulting with consultants to help bring in some of that knowledge that maybe we may be missing if there's not like a pilot that lives in the city of Terrell. My hope is that there would be. Maybe perhaps staff can help answer.
So let me put a plug in. You all touched on things that are all key things that are there. We have some people in the hangars there currently. Most of the hangar owners do not live in the city of Terrell, okay? So, but they have a vested interest. We have a board member that's going to term out here in the next coming months that we're going to need to be filling that. I've already had some applicants come to me, and they're heavily invested in the hangar business out there. They have a hangar club out there that they all get together, and there's some participants in there that have come to me and said, hey, I want to be involved. We've got a very good airport board. They're very involved. We've done the master plan, and we've done the business plan here just recently. So there's a lot of dynamics that are rolling, and they're very involved. So I guess for a little bit is, as a staff member, I need someone that's going to be a participant, not a figure. So I'm going to be very much invested in kind of vetting that person out to say, I need someone that's going to be involved. So there is some experience out there that might not be a resident, but they're heavily vested and have the experience that they can bring to the table. We got a very diverse group there across the businesses that use the facility that one form or fashion. Several of them are pilots. So they have a vested interest. They're very enthused. We just had a board meeting last week. And they're very much wanting to carry that gauntlet on forward and make some dynamic changes and see some positive things. So if I don't want to limit it to just the city limits like we said we wouldn't interested in, because that really narrows the field down. And when you narrow the field down, the experiences that you bring to the table become limited. So.
Yeah, keep that in mind, just, I think the least restrictive verbiage.
Yes, ma'am.
When you bring that to us.
I'd be happy to, and I will say too, and along with what Chris said, a knowledge of aviation is helpful, but it's not absolutely essential. There's a lot to the aviation business that's other than flying and being a pilot, so yes, I would say.
I think we've got the assignment. We can handle it. Yeah,
Good,
yeah.
thank
We
you.
got a good team. We'll get it done.
All right, next item on the agenda is discuss upcoming meetings and calendars. This is going to be handled by Sue? No. I wanted to see.
Surprising people here.
Go ahead, Don. I'm sorry.
Mayor and council, in your packet is the June 2024 calendar. Just ignore that because it shouldn't have been in there. The July 2024 calendar. I'm sorry about that. Basically, we're almost done with July. Our next council meeting will be on July 30th. In August, we will have a council meeting on the 6th, the 20th, and the 27th. On the 9th, we will have our council budget workshop from 8 to 5 that day. And it says that they were going to have a paddock meeting that day, but that has been canceled. They're going to do the August and September meeting in September. So I'm going to be taking that off. September is in here as well. We are going to be having council meetings every Tuesday in September in order to pass our budget ordinance and tax rate and all of the water and sewer rates. So that will be a busy month. And we've also put in October. October, we will have a meeting on October 1st and October 22nd. TML conference is the 9th through the 11th. I believe that's in Houston. And that's it for that. I'm happy to answer any questions.
What does ZBA stand for?
Zoning Board of Adjustments. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I was wondering, when is the Paddock meeting for September, if it's gonna be combined? I don't see it.
It will be on the second Friday. It's normally on the second Friday, so.
Call it the
will be-
13th.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, the 13th.
Wonderful.
For the end of,
I'll put that on there and resend that out.
No problem.
What is that? What did she ask? I'm sorry.
Paddock Board would be September the 13th.
Oh, okay.
That's
Oh,
the
'cause she's
change.
on it. Okay.
Yeah, it's just the change Dawn's announcing is it won't be in August, it will be in September, on September 13th, 8 a.m.
Yes.
since we have a heavy month in September, we have the budget, all the hearings, on the 20th or the 27th, do we have any hearings scheduled on either of those days? Is there an opportunity to combine the meetings for the 20th and the 27th
Are you referring to,
of August?
okay, can you flip over to August, please?
Okay.
On August, I would not want to commit that we could combine the 20th and the 27th due to some of the meeting requirements associated with adopting your budget and all the related ordinances. I don't mind looking at that and kind of monitoring that, but I'm not sure I can promise that right now.
We have a public hearing on the 20th.
Yeah, so some of those public hearing schedules
Yes,
with
on the
budget
20th of
option get,
Yes, sir.
That's right. I remember that.
Yes,
So,
on impact fees.
on what?
We have a public hearing on August 20th
And
regarding
then
the impact.
we're gonna adopt it on the 27th?
there would be voting on the 20th for first reading, and there'd be voting on the 27th for the 27th, right?
Yes.
And just to clarify, there's a whole series of things that are budget-related. And so it's really hard to say that from the 20th down through the end of September, that there would be a Tuesday that we wouldn't meet. We'll study it. Go ahead, Mark.
I'll say on August the 20th, you have your impact fee public hearing. On August the 27th, you have your public hearing on your tax rate and your budget and your stormwater and your wastewater rates. So that one is on the 27th. And then we have final budget discussion on the 3rd, the 10th. And then you have the meeting on the 27th is to pass the resolution for the public hearing for the tax rate, budget, water, stormwater, and wastewater rates. That's the 27th, is to pass the resolution for the public hearing. The public hearing for those are scheduled for the 17th of September.
All right. However, is there a way to shorten these meetings to where we're just dealing with the ordinance related?
I would really tell you that when we're meeting 6 weeks in a row, we're going to have shorter meetings.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we'll try to get you out as quickly as we can on those dates. Still do city business, and that's not to rush.
And
those of-
Mayor, I'll tell you for sure, if I can find one of those to cancel, then I understand the directive. If we can find one to cancel, we will. I don't feel like it's fair to commit to that at this time.
I can say, you've done such a good job. I haven't heard anything from my left or my right on meetings, so let's see what we can do there.
We're getting there. We're doing our best.
It has to be done.
Yep.
Yes.
Just sit down, buckle up, and do it.
Okay.
I do have
All right.
I do have a couple of scheduling
yes.
concerns that I'll address privately with the two of you.
Okay.
No reason to.
Yeah. Next item on the agenda is 6.1. This is good news report.
Amen.
Allison Walker, please come forward.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am happy to bring you July good news tonight. The first page, just an overview of the annual fireworks show out at the airport. There was a very good turnout. They had food trucks, and the BFTS Museum was open, and they had a car show and music, so everybody had a good time there. And the Chamber of Commerce and the BFTS work closely together, and then our staff also helps assist with that event. The next page is Will Duff, our animal control supervisor, accepting a donation at Tractor Supply. He is serious about donations, I'll tell you that, because I met him out there, and there was a lady from the garden club there as well, and he told her, oh, while I was getting my dog food, I got you some seeds. So she comes ready to get a box of seeds, and her entire car was nothing but seeds. So anyway, and plants. So she's going to share those with the library, so it was a nice partnership with Tractor Supply. This is a event that we're doing in cooperation with the Shops at Terrell. That'll be this weekend on Saturday from 10 to 2. One free chip for each, not resident, the dogs of the residents. And then $10 for each additional chip. You have to show proof of residency and proof of rabies shots, which that's a really good deal if y'all have ever had that done by a vet. So that's super good. Okay. If you haven't done this by today, you probably have run out of time as far as going to the Kaufman location, but the FEMA individuals are still going door to door for people that need disaster assistance. I did verify this with Dustin yesterday, and he said that for the foreseeable future, they are still going door to door, as well as you can go online and go to the helpline or call that 1-800 number. Everybody's favorite topic, brush. It continues to get cleaned up, and as it says here that they're working 10-hour days Monday through Saturday. I was coming in through town on Sunday evening, and there were actually 2 huge trucks filled. So I don't know, but they were working on Sunday as well. So everybody is teaming together to get this cleaned up. And Carnell is coordinating this, so if you have questions specifically, you can contact Carnell or call me, and I will be happy to get with him. This is an additional slide about our adult summer reading program. There are actually 152 adults, 18 and over, signed up for the summer reading program. 15 of them have completed the reading challenge. 15 of them completed the June program, and they had 88 participants in their programs during June. This is the summer reading pool party, also on Saturday from 4 to 6:30, and they'll have awards from 4 to 4:30, and then swimming from 4:30 to 6:30. This is limited to summer reading participants. So if any of y'all want to participate, I bet you'd have to ask Becca, but I bet she'd let you. If y'all want to be on hand for the awards as well, I'm sure she would appreciate that.
I can tell you the awards are always a ton of fun, and the kids love it to see mayor and council people out there. So yeah, awards are a great moment. Those are proud kids.
This is a congratulations to some of our utility services crew that had their customer service inspector licenses. Dustin Starr, our chief operator of water quality, and Sean, I don't know how to say his last name, plant operator. You want to help me, Sue? Rakowski. Okay, there you go. So congratulations to them. Okay, I don't know if anybody in this room knows about steampunk. I think if anybody does, it'd be Phil. No.
What an indictment.
Councilman Robinson.
Probably,
Anyway,
though, yes.
they say that this is a great deal of fun. I can't imagine it, but you know, this is what they're going to do. They're going to have teapot races and parasol dueling and all kinds of things. And they're even going to have a parade of steampunk dressed people crossing Moore Avenue. So we will get pictures of that. There's supposed to be about 30 people. So.
Is there a steampunk community in Terrell? Is that?
I'm sure there is. If
Apparently,
Hey, come on.
Arlie heads it up.
Okay, perfect.
If they'll come downtown and buy food from a food truck and
There's gonna
shop
be a-
downtown, they are welcome downtown.
Hey, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna Let's see what this is about.
You gonna dress up, man?
No, I'm not dressing up.
Okay, anyway, but they're gonna be doing this from 10 to 9, so
Yeah, that's a
Anyway.
full day.
full day,
Punk is serious.
yes. All right, and then if y'all will mark your calendars for August the 5th, we were gonna have another Wings graduation, and we're gonna have it downtown at the Lyric because there are too many graduates to fit in here with their family members.
Cool.
That is all.
All right, thank you. If you would, please make sure that those dates are on our calendars.
Do you need a costume?
No.
For steampunk?
Well, what kind of costume do they use?
It's hot
What kind of
weather
costume
for
do they?
steampunk. It's dark colors, big boots,
Yes.
metal glasses,
Oh, yeah.
top hats. It's a mix between Victorian and strange.
There you go.
That was well described, by
Yep,
the way.
sure was.
That's an excellent description.
Can't wait to race all you guys in a teapot.
Yeah, I know. All right.
So, one quick question about the good news. Do we still have 4 contractors working on debris cleanup?
We have one of the 4 is going to cycle out due to some other obligations that they have. So starting, I think, I'm not sure, pardon me, I think maybe on Friday was their last, or this coming Friday was the last day for the 4th. So we're going to be at 3 for a little while. I have some initial announcements to make on that, which we're working on right now. If you recall, we were under a procurement. The procurement will allow us to have a larger corporate firm that can come in and sort of do the finish-up work. That procurement needs to get approved by City Council due to the way we did that and some federal issues associated with it. You'll see the results of that RFP on your July 30th agenda. And so we'll have a period of time between, I'm going to estimate probably July the 27th or so, maybe a little before then, where we shut down all the contractors, wait, have the July 30th vote, and then start up with the new contractors. So we're about to do a transition, and that'll be healthy. That's all right, because we're wearing out the 3 that we're using, and we'll be making an adjustment there. But for now, 4, soon to be 3, and then we're going to adjust and get an entirely different firm in. Okay.
Do we have a percentage of what we might feel like the city's completed? Is it 50%?
We are all, yeah, we're over 50%, but we're very hesitant to say a number, publish a number, because obviously what happens every time we pick something up is that there was more in the backyard. And so it's a little deceptive and it can be frustrating for staff. We think, hey, we got that street, and you go down that street the week later, and ta-da, there's more stuff from people's backyards. But it's not bad. Just keep cleaning it up, picking it up. And to me, I'm just a big believer in we're preventing, a fire hazard problem. I don't know how you survive in a city where you're not picking it up yet. And frankly, there are cities that haven't picked up any yet. So that's just fire hazard to me. We got to keep moving, and we're going to keep working on it.
Well, I want to say again, when this first began, we were upfront and honest with our residents. We always said it would be months with an S, not days or weeks or, a month. We said months. That's what staff told us. That's what we were given that, and that's what I've been telling folks out in the community. I've never seen anything. I was born and raised here, and I've never seen a storm come through and just about every residential street was affected. Almost every single one of them. So that's a lot of debris, and they're working very hard. So anyway, thank you.
It's a good question, and the upshot of all the stuff I just said is the July 30th meeting is an important one because it'll mark a transition in what we're doing.
Okay.
Our own convenience station is open now, right, for people to haul their own debris if they need to?
Yes, sir.
And if you live out in the county, you can burn it.
Well, I mean, this is another issue, and yes, there are folks who are outside the city limits who are allowed to burn, and
Is the corner of my piece of property out there?
No,
in there?
nope,
No, not
nope.
anymore. Dang, okay. All right. Next item on the agenda, discuss RFP 20-2024-01 for health insurance broker. This is going to be handled by our Human Resources Director. Sue?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. As we discussed earlier today in the workshop, this is just a very brief update, just to remind you that we did put out an RFP for a group health and benefits insurance consultant back on July the 3rd. Those responses and proposals are due back to us and will be opened on Friday, July the 28th at 10 a.m. And the whole purpose is obviously to find a professional consultant. Our current broker can apply for that as well or propose as well. But basically to help us review our plan designs, what we offer, make sure we're getting the most for our money, look at the specifications, help us with RFPs for all of those other various plans that are out there. And so if that RFP does come back under the 50,000 mark, then we will go through, we've got several stakeholders that will be in the evaluation process, and we will bring them forward, I guess, for introduction, or if we have to bring it for your approval, we'll do that. And then get into the actual RFPs to issue for our health plan, rates and all that fun, exciting stuff.
Yeah, and just remember, it's a two-step process. Sue's leading us through step one, find a consultant who's got expertise here. That consultant will eventually help us create an additional RFP, which will really get us the real meal deal of any change in the insurance program.
And I think moving forward for the city, the cost benefit of doing this is going to be in favor of our city saving money. We don't want to lessen any benefits. We just want to make sure that we are getting the best price.
We want to do our due diligence. We want to provide a very high-quality plan that helps us recruit, retain our employees.
Yes.
And, but also at the same time is very cost-effective
And
for our
Mayor, I'm going to
taxpayers as
tell you
well.
that close to my heart is just the whole issue of customer service. I think that nothing makes you feel worse when you're talking to an employee and you know they're going through a major family problem because there's a major health issue in their home, and you've got to help pick up a dropped ball from a bad customer service incident with our health insurance provider. I just can't do that.
Right.
You know, I need
Right.
good customer service for our employees because when they're having a health problem, that's their moment of crisis in life. And we need to step up and do a really good job with customer service and the insurance side of it. So that's a very important part of it.
I agree 100%.
Now, may I ask a
Yes.
question? I noticed that, and I think this might be prevalent for all employee benefit programs, but I noticed that for vision, it's an employee-paid premium.
Correct. Yes, so right now, we currently provide employee-only coverage, 100% for our health prescription plan, as well as dental. We pay a long-term disability policy and also pay a surety hospital confinement policy. So it's up to $3,000 on that if they're confined 20 hours or more in the hospital. Then they can get a benefit of $3,000, which helps with their out-of-pocket maximum and deductibles.
But for eyewear, I just think it's interesting that, you know, some of the work that our employees do, it wears on their eyes. It's just, I'm not saying we need to have it, but I just think it's interesting that across the board, vision is always employee paid.
To be honest, a lot of the times dental, vision, all of those are usually employee paid. So I feel like we're very generous here to cover those, and there may be an opportunity for us to look at possibly including something in our plan once we get to looking at it and
Just
seeing
an
what's out there.
observation, I'm not saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Thank you, Sue. Our next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. We may take all of these items at once. Is there a motion?
No, I have a question.
Yes.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
If I wanted to discuss something that someone brought up to me, a constituent, when would I bring that up?
That is on the consent agenda. You just asked to pull it, and then we can discuss that item separately.
No, it's not, at the consent agenda, I would bring it up.
No. Oh, I see what you're saying. Someone has brought
Something to my attention. Is that when I get with
If it's
another
one of the
council member
items
to
on the
put it
agenda, if it's not, we need to put it on the
On the
agenda.
agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
My suggestion in that case is, okay, so I'm just going to restate it for you. You have an item, citizen brought it up, it's not on the current agenda. You'd like it discussed. Most helpful thing is let me or Dawn know. Me and Dawn will talk about it real fast, and we'll say, well, terrific, that's great. Or it may be a more straightforward thing. If the best customer service is a phone call directly to the constituent, then that may be the right thing to do. So just let us know after the meeting. We'll handle it as efficiently as we can find a way to handle it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, again, we are going to consider the consent agenda. Is there a motion on item 7?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, District 3, a second from Phil Robinson, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 5, to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is to adjourn into executive session in accordance with Section 551 of the Texas Government Code to discuss the following. Section 551.072, deliberations regarding real property. Section 551.074, personnel matters. Section 551.087, deliberations regarding economic development negotiations. At this time, we will reconvene into regular session, discuss any items that may need action. Are there any motions?
I move, we approve ordinance number 2162,
Resolution.
resolution number 2162.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion from Donna Renee Anderson, District 2, a second from Phil Robinson, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 5, to approve Resolution 2162. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries with unanimous consent of those present. We are adjourned.